Hi, my name's Sarah Irons. I am a mortgage broker and I have a YouTube video which is helping you achieve your property goals. It's just full of mortgage tips and information which I hope will help you prepare to achieve your property goals in 2021. Everyone knows 2020 has pretty much been a write-off. I'm sure that you had some goals that you didn't yet achieve, and I just wanted to give you all the information and help to make your property journey a really smooth, slick and fast process. Anything you particularly want to know, please leave a question below or a topic below. I'm more than happy to cover it. I want to give you all of my knowledge if I can, just to help you on your way. I've been a broker for 16 years. I have been a commercial finance broker for 4 years. I have been a landlady. I am doing my first development. I've worked in an estate agent, so I've done property courses. So I think that I'm quite well placed to help you guys in all aspects, whether you're a newbie or whether you're at the top end of your game, developer, commercial, landlord, or buying bigger properties from auction. So wherever you are in your property journey, I am happy to help and hoping to help. So I have two categories of clients. I have a channel that's going to be it's one channel, but I've got clients sort of aimed at newer into the market, maybe residential purchase clients, or buy-to-lets, first or second buy-to-lets, or embarking on some sort of property for the first time. It can be sort of first time commercial landlord or whatever it might be. And then I've got my other set of clients which are the more experienced, that are doing sort of big developments, changing commercial to residential, which has been quite popular. So yeah, all sorts, whatever it might be. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble any further. This video is aimed at my sort of newer clients. I started this sort of mini-series just to really help you get on your way. And I started telling people every sort of aspect of what the lender's going to be looking for when you're doing your application, just to help you prepare and get all organised. This video is going to be the paperwork that lenders will require from you. So if you can have all of this ready before you speak to your broker, this would be so helpful, not only to the broker, but when you send it over to the lender, considering that they are so busy at the moment and it takes sometimes up to 28 days for them to just look at your file. If you have everything on file from day one, they can assess it right away, and hopefully it can go straight through. The underwriting can be ticked off straight away, and then it can go to valuation if it hasn't already been valued. I'll go into the process of a mortgage on another video because I'm trying to keep these short, although my first one wasn't that short. But anyway, I'm trying just to give you snippets of information that might help. So without further ado, by the way, do you like my fireplace? I've really got into these fireplace sounds, and just did like a flat screen on YouTube that you just put in, and I saw this Christmas one. Probably a bit too much as we're not even in December yet, but I love Christmas, even though this Christmas is so sad because it's pretty much not going to be like a normal Christmas for everyone. So I thought I'll bring a little bit of Christmas cheer and coziness to this video, even though it is actually on my TV. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so this video is the paperwork that lenders are going to want to see, and I'm going to go into a sort of worst case scenario now, and it really isn't that bad. So this is why I wanted to do this video, so that you could all see and collect all this information and have it readily available for your broker. Okay, the first thing, ID. So obviously the lender is going to want to see ID and make sure you are who you say you are, and that you're nobody making up getting a mortgage. So ID can be name ID and address ID. If you haven't seen your broker or met face to face, you're going to need two forms of address ID. So name ID can be passport or driving license. That's name ID, which shows your photo. That's what they want to see. Make sure it's in date. Make sure your signature matches. Make sure your photocopy is clear if that's what you're sending to the broker. And yeah, normally sort of sending that over in PDF format is sufficient. When you've met your broker face to face, they probably saw the original. So for the file, it needs to be a photocopy. So address ID can be council tax, utility bill dated within the last 3 months. It can be a driving licence if you've already given us your passport, because your driving licence has your address on it. make sure it's the correct address and it is up to date, else that can scupper you. The biggest thing with ID, and we do see this sometimes, make sure all your names are correctly spelt and correctly shown. So we have quite a few cases where middle names aren't shown on one ID but they are on something else. So please make sure you're giving your full name, including middle names, and any other name you've ever been known by. Please make this really clear, because otherwise you can get all the way through to mortgage offer, and then the solicitors start doing their work and they might see that the title has a different spelling of the name or includes a middle name when the application doesn't, and then you have to start all over again. You have to wait all over again. You know, you have to have a new credit check under the new name. It causes huge problems. So please, just because you don't like your middle name, or it might not show on some of your documentation, you must state your full name to your broker and discuss this when you're sending an ID. It's really crucial. So 1, name ID, 2, address IDs. If you've seen your broker face to face, then 1 address ID is fine, and that can also be BT, bank statement, credit card statement, mortgage statement. It can't be a mobile phone, but can pretty much be anything else, as long as it's dated in the last 3 months. Okay, the next thing we're going to want to see is income proof. Obviously this is a large part because this is what they're going to be basing your loan amount on, so please pay attention to this section. If you're employed, then last 3 pay slips, assuming you get paid monthly. If you get paid weekly, then last 3 months worth of pay slips. Now sometimes the lender will only want to see your latest pay slip, but if the broker's got them all on file, that's the most they're going to want to see. So again, you're just covering yourself, and this will be great for speed. If you've got a bonus, commission or overtime, please also send your last 2 years P60s. If you only have 1 year, send 1 year. If you don't yet have one, they might not be taking that extra income. So again, speak to your broker, but best case scenario, include your last 3 pay slips and your last 2 P60s. If you've got a new pay rise coming, or you've got a new employment starting, then we'd want to see a pay rise letter. This will be addressed to the lender, not to you, and also an employment contract, which would be addressed to you, the employment contract you have been sent, which proves your new employment. And I've been through what needs to be on that. Pay rise letter addressed to the lender. If you are self-employed and you're a sole trader, then you could send 3 years accounts showing that net profit. That's the same for a partnership. Along with this, please could you send tax calculation and tax overview. It used to be called an SA 302. These can be downloaded from the HMRC website, or you can ask your accountant to send it to you. This is basically a receipt, like a summary, an easy readable summary for the lender to see exactly the net profit that was declared on those accounts. If you are, and actually incidentally, the lender will probably only want to see this rather than the accounts. But again, if you can send and prepare everything, then send the last 3 years accounts as a the maximum, or if you've only got 1 year's accounts, you send that 1 year's full accounts, plus your last 3 years tax calculation and tax overview to show that income for the self-employed. So still keeping with self-employed but moving to limited company, if you are a limited company, your tax calculation and overview will show your salary and dividend. So again, that's the information that the lender's going to want to see. Send your last 3 years tax calculation and overview and your last 3 years accounts. This will give all the information that the lender will need. If you do not take dividends, this is covered in my previous video, by the way, so please do have a look at that if you are still unsure. If this is the first video you've watched and you're still unsure what income the lender will take, then please have a look at that. If you are not drawing a dividend, so you're just doing salary and either retained or net profits of the business, then it is the accounts that the lender will need to see. not the tax calculation and overview, because what that doesn't show is the net profits of the business. That will only show in the accounts. So the last 3 years accounts is the ideal. If you only have 1 year, that's fine, as long as it's a full year. And that's what the lender will want to see, to just ascertain the salary and net profits, or your share of that business. If you're a contractor, then please send the contract. If you're a contractor that uses a limited company, speak to your broker about which way you're going to go. Maybe it's just the contract you need to send, or if you are using your limited company to prove your income, then please revert back to what I just said about the accounts or the tax calculation and overviews, if there's any sort of dividend that's being drawn. Bank statements. Please send us last 3 months worth of full bank statements. They can be downloaded from the online banking that you do. Most of the time you will be able to create a statement which shows your name and address and the account details on the front page. There is no point in sending us a statement which shows nothing but a list of transactions, because they could be anybody's, so the lender will reject that. Make sure that on the front page it has your name, address and account details. And then at the bottom of the page it should have the sort of HTTP web address, just to show that they are from the legitimate site that you're using. So online statements is fine as long as it does have that on it. We need full months, so from the 1st to the 31st, depending on the month obviously. We need to see 3 full months of bank statements. Whether the lender asks for them or not, we like to have them on the file, and you'll be well prepared if you do that. Now for the more tricky customer, the more in-depth limited company, maybe they might well ask for 6 months business bank statements, just to see how that business is unfolding, especially in these uncertain times. So be prepared to send 6, but more than likely the maximum you would be asked for is 3. And what the lender's looking for here is banking conduct, to see how well you run your accounts, income going in and out, just to back up the pay slips that have been sent, any overdraft that you might be in that hasn't been declared, or whether you're in and out of that overdraft a lot. If you are, again, it doesn't mean that it's over for you. These are the sorts of things they're looking for. So yeah, 3 months bank statements showing income and expenditure as well, for both of you if you have 2 separate ones. There might be times where you have a joint bank account which shows your sort of joint expenditure. That can be sent as well. Anything that we have already on the file is only going to help your case. Mortgage statement. Most of the time a lender won't ask for this, but if you really want to dot the I's and cross the T's, then send us your latest mortgage statement, especially if you've already got a mortgage obviously and you're doing a remortgage or a refinance or some sort of capital raise. Send us a copy of your latest mortgage statement. Quite often the lender will ask for that, so it's better to have that than not. Rental agreements, so ASTs, which stands for Assured Short Hold Tenancy Agreement. You might have some rental properties in the background. It might be a buy-to-let application that you're doing, or a second buy-to-let, or a buy-to-let remortgage. Most of the time the lenders won't ask for this, but if you've got it all prepared at the get-go, then your application is going to fly through much quicker. So any ASTs, any tenancy agreements that you have in place, send those over. It shows us the property address, the tenants, the start date, the rent, just confirms that rental that you've got. But nowadays, do be careful. If you are collecting rent, then please do declare it to Inland Revenue, because mortgage lenders, if they don't see a rental net profit but you've declared that you have buy-to-lets, this can be a red flag, and they are starting to let HMRC know. So if you do have any rental, please declare it. Otherwise you could find yourself coming unstuck, especially if you want to grow your portfolio or do any sort of further property purchase. It's best to do everything above board. You can't get anything past the lenders, so yeah, be prepared on that, and yeah, hopefully that helps. Proof of deposit. If it's a purchase, more than likely the lender's going to want to know where those deposit funds came from. If it's your own savings, then you might have to send in a couple of bank statements to show those savings adding up over time. Be careful if there is a lump sum that's been put into your account towards your deposit. please let your broker know where this has come from, because we do need to declare this accurately. It's for money laundering purposes, and the lender will do this thoroughly. So proof of deposit, if it has come from a gift from someone like a parent, brother or sister, family, blood relative is fine for a gift. And what normally happens is they will need to do a gift letter, which states that they are gifting you the money, that they don't require it back, that they don't hold an interest in the property, and there's no monthly payment for it. And they have to sign to say that that's what's happening. So a gift letter for any gifted deposit. I think that's pretty much it. So 9 times out of 10, the lender will only ask for the last 3 months bank statement and the last pay slip, or the last bank statement, or just the last pay slip. Sometimes they don't ask so much at all. It really does depend on the case. If it's a low risk to the lender, for example, a low loan to value, young client, good credit score, not much debt, they probably won't ask for that much, which is great. But if you're armed with all the information you need at the outset, then your application is going to fly through, and hopefully you'll be getting to a mortgage offer very, very quickly in a very unstressful manner. So hopefully that's really helped you prepare all the information you're going to need to get your mortgage and get you on your way to that property that you really want. I really hope this has helped. I always say it, but please leave any questions below. I really want to help you. I really want to answer your questions, help you on your journey. If there's a topic you want me to discuss that you're unsure of, please put it down below, and I will add it into my mini series. And I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye.